So, hey guys, hope you're doing good. And right now, I have with me Caleb Jones, Sovereign CEO,
Now presenting Deepak, the most proven and female friendly dating coach in this world.
Alpha Male 2.0. So, tell Caleb about yourself a bit to my audience.
Hi. Glad to be here. Let's see about myself. Well, I have been my primary source of income for the past 30 years. I'm very old. Has been as a business consultant, management consultant. And then around 2007, I got divorced from my traditional marriage and I got into the pickup artist world and got sort of well known over there, kind of. 2007, 2008, 2009, 2012, somewhere in there. And then the Alpha Male 2.0 business I started around that time, around 2013. And then Sovereign CEO is an outgrowth of Alpha Male 2.0. So Alpha Male 2.0 is mostly a lifestyle design system for men, specifically around dating, anti-aging, testosterone, things like that. And then the Sovereign CEO is a subcomponent of Alpha Male 2.0, which is location independent income and living a free lifestyle. So Alpha Male 2.0 is mostly about living as free a lifestyle as you can in the modern era as a man without having to be super rich. So that means you are sexually free, you're dating multiple women, no one woman controls your sex life, and you don't report to a job, and you're location dependent, so you can make money anywhere in the world, no matter where you go. So you have all these levels of freedom, far more than the typical man can achieve, even men who make a lot of money. Because I work with the guys. I mean, I do okay financially, but I work with a lot of guys who do way better than I do. But they're not free. They're in monogamous marriages, or they have companies where they have to work 9 to 5 and 7 days a week. And, they have money, but they're not free. So the objective for me is freedom, because most men, and you can interrupt me whenever you want.
If you're still suffering in your dating life and not able to find the right solution for the problems what you're facing in your dating life, then now it's time to change it forever. And if you're committed, then get to a 30-minute call with me where I will listen to your problems what you are facing in your dating life, and I will give you the best solution which will efficiently solve your dating problems. So book a 30-minute consultation call with me. The link is in the description below, and let's solve your dating issues once for all. I am also the creator of dating product of the century, Dating in Fields Domination, which is unchallenged the best live example dating product, where you will not only see my live examples of me interacting with people, making some of them my life partner, but also my students doing the same. And live examples are from all over the world, like New York, London, Europe, Las Vegas, and from all races. If you still do not believe what I'm saying, then just check the product out. It costs only $1, and if you're not satisfied, then I guarantee I will even refund that $1 to you. And also guys, if you're enjoying my content, then like this video, because that will help in performing this video better in algorithm. And don't forget to subscribe my channel and hit the bell button so that you will be notified when I release a new video. And let's move forward with the main video.
But most men are happy to the degree to which they can do whatever they want every day, where no one is telling them what to do. They don't have a wife or girlfriend or boss or whatever telling them, okay, do this and don't do that. You're not allowed to do this. Where you can wake up every morning and do whatever you want, whenever you want, within realistic legal and financial constraints, to do whatever you want with your life. And that tends to make most men happier. Most men are less happy when they have constraints on their freedom. So if you want to be long-term happy, you need to live a life of long-term freedom. And that's freedom not just in one area, like monetarily, but in all the areas, monetarily, sexually, romantically, in your family life.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. I mean, I think like even more important is like freedom in what we say, like sexually satisfaction is more important, even more important than the money part. Because I have seen in the Western world also a lot of people have a lot of money, but when they are not sexually satisfied, or they are not getting this, they're not successful in their dating life, then it is much more damaging to them in long term rather than like, being rich or something like that. What do you think about that? Like,
correct. I know a lot of guys. Yeah, I know a lot of. Yeah, I agree to a degree. Every guy's different. So I know a lot of men who are traditional beta male guys who make a lot of money. They have a high income, either through a business or a job, and they either don't get laid at all, or they're in a monogamous relationship to a live-in girlfriend or wife who they kind of tolerate. and yells at them and run their
Mhm.
lives. And yes, these men are not happy. They're not free. Often, usually they end up divorced or broken up, and they get depressed for 6 months. A lot of these men get financially destroyed. Here's what's funny about this is that if you build up a financial life and then you get traditionally monogamously married, especially in places like United States, Canada, UK, Australia, and then you get divorced, it wipes out your finances. So you built
Oh,
up this
okay. Yeah.
financial empire only to lose it to a woman. Yes. So it's a
But
combination of
if you
now.
make an just if you make an agreement before that, something like that, prenup agreement or something like contract that after if divorce happen, then my property belongs to me or what I earn. So it is I don't know. Like, is it something valid or not?
Depends on the jurisdiction. So most
Okay.
parts of the Western world, you are not able to get an enforceable prenuptial agreement if you legally marry one. Most jurisdictions. For example, in the state of California, you can get a prenup, but it's useless. You go into divorce court and say, hey, I have a prenup, especially if you've married longer than 10 years. The judge is going to light that thing on fire and laugh in your face.
Okay.
Yeah, it's useless. In the UK, my understanding in the UK is prenups are useless. You have to get a postnup. So you have to get married, then you make her sign something. Oh, good luck.
Okay.
Australia. So most places in the world, in the Western world, prenups are not enforceable. There are a few places. You just have to do your research. Otherwise, don't get legally married. And instead of getting legally married, you sign an enforceable cohabitation agreement, which is the equivalent of a prenup if you don't legally marry a woman. If you live with her, those tend to be much more enforceable. Or another option is you get married. If you want to get legally married or settle down, you do that outside the Western world where these laws don't exist or exist, like in places like South America. They exist, but they're not enforceable. The government of Colombia is not going to enforce alimony or child support. They're not.
Okay.
They're on the books, but it's not going to happen. So that's another option.
Okay.
So a few options, but yes.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, it's a good
So
point. Prenups are not enforceable in most places.
So I have seen from your video, so you are right now not really like, what should I word I use, like hating on West or something like that. So what is going on, the situation about this Western civilization and all? This is very interesting because I'm also like, I also like deeply thought about these things, like what's going on there and why the problem is coming. So what you want to say about that thing, what's going on in USA? And because you are also doing this what we say in other word, in the game we use love the word like geomaxing. Like if you I don't know how much you are in game right now. So the new age guys, the black pillars and all these guys, I guess you know, black pill, red pill and all the stuff. So they come, they say like the word geomaxing. So it is also the same thing. I mean, it is, you are doing this not exactly the same, but it is the same thing, like you're making yourself like location independent. So if, like for example, it is not easy to find a relationship in USA or Anglo-Saxon countries, like English speaking countries, Canada, USA, then maybe in Latin America it will be easier. And I do agree that it will be slightly easier to get laid or getting relationship for a Westerner, something like that. I don't know about Dubai because your location is in Dubai, so I don't know how it is there. But definitely, like going to some different countries, it will be dating life will be easier, and it is also because it is tough to get results, to get a like long term, like what we say, reliable life partner, or even getting laid. It's getting tougher and tougher in the West, and it is also because of the how the things are changing there.
Well, you covered a lot, so I'll start with depends what you want to talk about. I'll start with the guys who go abroad to find girlfriends or get laid and things like that. It is true in many respects. It is easier to date and or to get laid outside of the West to non-Western countries. Here's the problem. The problem is that if you have to travel to 1,000, 2,000, 4,000, 10,000 miles away in order to get laid, what does that say about your own level of self-esteem? I can't get laid here because I'm not good enough, so I got to go to this other country where I have artificial SMV and I can get laid easier. So what does that do to your self-esteem? Problem number one. Problem number two is I would never want a man to move to a country with the primary or only reason of I can't get laid where I am, so I got to move this country in order to get laid. It would make more sense to me in terms of a self-esteem standpoint to say there are numerous reasons I'm leaving the United States or Canada or Western Europe or whatever, Australia, and one of them is dating. So when I left the United States, it had nothing to do with dating because I was already full of American women. But if you're going to go abroad, which is the reasons I went abroad, to have a more free life, to pay far less money in taxes, to be around happier people, to enjoy better weather, on and on and on and on and on and on and on. And then also number 5, or on that list of 3, 4, 5 things, is better women. Great. That makes perfect sense. It's not great. I don't love this concept of these guys who say, I cannot get laid here. I can't do it. So I'm going to, my sole reason of moving to the Ukraine prior to the war or whatever, or Colombia or Medellin or Thailand, is to go get laid. I would rather you have other reasons besides that. And because a lot of these guys will go just to get laid. And it's like, so here's what I would rather you do. And this is my opinion, because this is what I did. I got good with women in the US, not only in the US, but in a very feministy left-wing part of the US, the Pacific Northwest, specifically Portland, Oregon, Portland, Seattle area.
Okay.
I got good at that. And once you're good at that, you can go anywhere in the world. And you can get laid anywhere in the world because you've gotten good at one of the hardest places in the world to get laid. And I'm not saying the United States is one of the hardest places. There are harder places in the US. I'll go to Saudi Arabia. I mean, there are harder places. But that's my point. So then once you get good at getting laid with women who are at least cute to you, they don't have to be supermodels or 19-year-olds, but cute to you in a normal Western country, now you can go to any country on earth. And it's easy because you've established that baseline. And then you can then put women off the table in terms of your priority, and you can move to anywhere in the world you want, and you know women will be covered, and you'll get the other benefits of where you go. For example, so I live in Dubai. I'm in Dubai most of the year. I also spend a lot of time in Paraguay, Mexico. I don't live full-time in Dubai because June, July, and August, Dubai is horrible. But right now, Dubai is perfect. That's why I'm here. Okay. That's the horrible lighting you see through these windows because it's the middle of the day. I usually do videos at night. But when I moved, none of my objectives were female because I already had that part of my life dialed. So I could then focus on taxes, income, business, quality of life, freedom, happier people, all the other benefits you get by leaving. That's my viewpoint. And now I have everything instead of I just get laid. Because I'm not mentioning names, but I've seen a lot of these guys. They go live in Eastern Europe or South America and they live like bums, basically. They live these
I know what you're talking about.
And they live these horrible lives, but they kind of get laid a little bit. Well, wouldn't you like a more well-rounded life where you're making money and living a great life and getting laid? That's what I'd rather you have.
It is actually not true. I know what you're talking about. Like they are like some British guys. It was like that. It was like that 10 years ago. They used to go and like in the second world country, in East Bloc, even like the countries right now, they are the part of EU, this Estonia, Latvia and all. Like they are like still like like they are like East Bloc. So they used to go and at that time, 10 years ago, like if you are like a British guy or even like from USA, white British guy, and then you say I'm from England, you look nice to my British eyes or something like that. The girl saw the first time this guy, and these are like K-selected countries in the sense like girls are looking for like relationship kind of oriented kind of countries. And even if they say that they get with this girl laid, at that time the girl saw, okay, British guy, maybe if I open my legs, then maybe this guy will take me to England and all, and then have like a good life, bring me good life or something like that. So these guys were getting easy lays in that time. And now with the globalization and everything is now like on the Instagram, so girl is living in some East Bloc in the village, she knows her value, that's the thing. So you cannot trick them with this SMV that, oh, I can go there and, oh, I am a British guy or I'm a cool American guy, and they don't really care. And now with this conflict going on in Ukraine, and you cannot even go there. It's even dangerous. You cannot say I'm from USA. Kind of fucking slap
Right.
on the
You got to
face,
fly into Poland and take a train. Yeah, it's a
yeah,
mess.
yeah. So
Yeah.
so I mean, you are right. It was like that, but it is not. It is not going this way now. Like these guys are struggling.
There
They
are
are
still
now
countries. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
yes, no, they are doing like looks maxing and all the stuff as much as possible, because being British or being like Westerner is not giving them the same kind of results the way it was 10 years ago.
Correct. Correct. That's correct. There are still countries where it is technically easier, but it's harder
Philippine,
than it was 10 years ago. And it's going to keep getting harder every year
yeah, you're
as
right.
A, social media, and B, Western creep. I mean, more and more countries are becoming Western. India, even India, for example, India had a 1% divorce rate forever. And now it's up to like 5%. Now that's still very low, but that means it's 5x'd. They have a 5x increase in the divorce rate over there because it's more Western. I talk to a lot of guys these days from India are getting divorced, whereas that was unheard of just 15 years ago because everything becomes more Western. Right. So that's accurate.
Yes.
Correct.
Yeah,
That's
I
right.
mean, like I'm from India actually, so I like, I mean, you're right, because it's like the culture is coming from the West to India, but
Right.
actually it is coming in the, if you have like, we have like two kind of like culture. One is like conservative Muslim society,
Mhm.
which is still making keeping try their best to keep women in their women in control, in check. um,
Mhm.
and one is Hindu society. I'm like Hindu, uh,
Mhm.
and there the problem is coming. So divorce rate and all these things more happening in the
Yes.
Hindu society,
Hindu. Right.
because the thing is like, you have like Indian movies and all the serials, they are like the girls are getting independence. And
Right.
I mean, I have seen movies, they are like, so like, they are like even extreme version of West what they are showing, and that definitely affect the Indian girls, especially the Hindu girls. And then what's going on is they are getting more and more and more obnoxious, independent. And what you're saying is correct. It is changing. It is, and what is going in West, what you say slow collapse, it is starting to happen in India. And we have in
Correct.
India this like this woman empowerment. It is something in our culture, like also, and that is seen, that is being wrongly used. Woman empower, if you empower women, you know what's going to happen.
It's happening not just in India, it's happening all over. So it's happening in India, it's happening in the Middle East, it's happening in Brazil, places where historically men have said, oh, this is never going to happen. We're good. Yeah, it's happening. And it's going to keep getting worse and worse. Again, back to if you want to internationalize your life, which you should, I did. I pay far less taxes now and live a far better life than I ever did in the United States. And I'm not saying when I lived in the United States, my life was bad. It was pretty good. But it's way better
Mhm.
now. Not that Dubai is perfect. Certain people would love Dubai. Some people hate Dubai. I spent a lot of time in Paraguay. Some people love Paraguay. Some people hate Paraguay. Some people love Thailand. Some
Mhm.
people hate. Do what makes sense for you. But you do these things for multiple reasons, including financial and lifestyle,
Yes.
more than just women. Because if you wrap your whole head around your woman life, and a lot of guys under the age of 35 do this, their whole focus is chicks and getting laid and hot girls and whatever. And then they hit 35. I've seen this happen 10,000 times, especially with big name people. Again, I won't mention names. They hit around age 35 and they go, whoa, is this all there is to life? And I want more meaning in life. And then they do something stupid, like they settle down and get monogamous. Then they have all the same problems that beta males have. They get divorced. They have all kinds of problems. They have drama because they were too out of balance under 35, only focused on women. Women is a core part of your happiness, like you said earlier. You're right, and so it is a critical slice of the pie, but it's not the whole pie, nor should it be.
Mhm. Yeah, that's like, I mean, that's also correct. So we have the question. I have some questions.
Sure.
So you said one interesting thing, because I love to talk about game, but I love to talk with you. I love to talk about some other things also. Um,
Sure. Everyone.
you said that you don't like democracy. So
Correct.
why you don't like democracy? Something which is I agree. So I want to know your views. Why you don't like democracy?
Well, see, you're out of the non-Western world, so you more relate to that concept. If you say democracy sucks to Westerners, they pass out, they faint, especially left-wingers, but right-wingers too. They just can't even comprehend, why would you not want democracy? Democracy is, in the vast majority of cases, phase one to socialism or welfare statism. So if you want a socialist state or a quasi-socialist state or a welfare-based state, yes, you want democracy. You want as many people voting as you can. You want morons voting. You want mentally deficient people voting. You want 18-year-olds who don't know anything voting. You want criminals voting. You want everyone. You want illegal aliens voting. You want everyone to vote, because voting over time eventually ends up to welfare statism. Okay.
Yeah.
So if you don't want that, if your priority is a prosperous society with low taxes, business opportunity, things like that, you don't want democracy. Now, does that mean you're guaranteed to have a great country if you have an authoritarian dictator? No, you're not. So the least bad form of government are the forms of government you see in the most free or least unfree countries in the world. The past 20, 30 years, the least not the most free, because people say Singapore is not free. Correct. The least unfree countries in the world by all the indexes are always, the top two is Singapore and Hong Kong, as an example. Today we have Dubai. Dubai keeps rising up. Okay. You got soon you have Qatar and other places. What do those two countries have in common? Singapore and Hong Kong, back when Hong Kong was a country, is that they weren't democracies as understood by Western people. So the vast majority of Singapore cannot vote. They're not allowed to vote. Is that a democracy? Okay. No. In Hong Kong, now things have changed with China, but it actually got worse with China. But in Hong Kong, even prior to this Chinese stuff, half of their Congress, their parliament, was appointed. You could only vote for half the Congress. Their half was appointed. That's not a democracy.
Okay.
How is that a democracy? So if you avoid democracy, your odds are much better at having a country where you have freedom, prosperity, low crime, etc. I live in Dubai. Dubai is not a democracy. It's a constitutional monarchy. That's technically what it is. It really isn't. It's something else. But anyway, but it's not a democracy. No one votes here. And so in Dubai, which is not perfect, because whenever I say I live in Dubai, a percentage of the people go, oh, Dubai's horrible because. Dubai's great. You may hate Dubai. If you hate Dubai, go somewhere else. But don't stay in the collapsing Western world. That's stupid. But in Dubai, I have no taxes, none. There's a 5% VAT. That's it. There's no crime here. The crime rate's under 1%. You don't have crime here. There's no homeless people here. I just went back to the United States to visit my family for Christmas. There's homeless people everywhere, okay? There's no homeless. There's no wokeism. There's no left-wing stuff here at all. None. There's none. Now, again, at some point there will be down the road, because it's an encroaching thing. But right now there's none. The weather is great most of the year, not all year. It's a fantastic travel hub location. It's just win for here in Dubai, and it's not a democracy. So if you want freedom, the way to guarantee you will lose your freedom over time is to embrace democracy. It's a terrible, terrible idea. Not to say that non-democracy is great or monarchies are also good. I got to qualify that, because people say, you don't want a king running everything. Often you don't. So it depends. You want to have the least bad form of government, I talked about this in my blogs, is either an oligarchy or some sort of monarchy where there are restrictions on the people at the top, and where the people at the top, like in Dubai, Singapore, and Hong Kong prior to about 2019, are motivated to build their countries up and do something with their countries. They have the United States, for example, Canada, UK, these countries have no desire to do well because they're already on the top, or at least they think they are. So there's no strong will in the United States to really improve. Let's have a 2040 plan for the US. But in places like Dubai, China, Malaysia, Qatar, all these, Singapore, they are motivated to do well. And they will make sure they do well, which is why in Dubai they avoid things like taxes and things like this. They are motivated to do something because they want to be where the United States is. So
Yeah, I mean, that also, And I mean, the thing is, so if we say like what you said, that you want to have like in the West, if there should be some kind of authority system, kind of thing, and then it will be so. Like what I see is like if you have, I think like it is, if I understand the properly. So if you have a capitalism, which is then you have
Mhm.
the competition, and their capitalism
Right.
with democracy minus traditionalism, it is eventually going to civilization going to be collapse. So for example, if I understand like Japanese society, uh, they have capitalism, they have democracy, but it is still bounded by traditionalism is there, something like
Hmm.
that. So the
Accurate.
society is still like working. But in the West, I think the in the West, the problem is the greed is the is it's like the what we say in the capitalism, you have like the motivation is the money is the motivation. So you have to be rich. In USA, you see like you have to make money as much as possible. So if we see like I live in Germany. So there was like in the 11 years ago when I started dating, so I tried this online. So we have like online websites, Friend Scout 24 and like Elite Partner and all, like the German. So it was like matchmaking. Some working class girl is not able to find, and working class guy is not able to find some partner. They go to the website and they look for like matches, and then they find, they date, they get married, or they get like a girlfriend or something like that, a life partner, and they're out of the system, they're out of the website. So if you see in the capitalistic system, this is not a very this system is not making that much money because the people are going out of the system. So they bring Tinder. So Tinder, when the Tinder brings, so when Tinder came, so of course when the person is staying 2, 3, 4, 5 years in the system, it will generate more money for them. So when there is no control, when there is no control, when there is no higher authority that is controlling, so people will do whatever they want. So I think in the Western society, people are, when it comes to making money, people will go to at what we say, to whatever they can. And that's why it is also the cause the society to collapse. So if the greed is controlled, I think then it maybe it can be saved, and people think about other people instead of like their own profit, their own like me. So this is how I think, as a like
Hmm.
outsider. I mean, I live in West, but this is like, so what you think about that?
Well, two things. One is the West, as of right now, cannot be saved. That window is passed a long time ago. Western Europe is fucked. The United States is
Hmm.
fucked. Canada's fucked. Yes. Australia, New Zealand might be all right. They might just kind of float along. I call them stagnating countries.
Yeah.
There's nothing you can do mathematically or culturally to save the West. We're 20 years past that window. You can't vote for
Hmm.
anyone. You're screwed. All you
Mm.
can do is wait for it to go down. And if you're smart, at least set up international options. So you have a plan B. And if you're aggressive like I am, you leave the country. Number one. Number two is you were talking about the reason for collapse and getting rich and capitalism, all that stuff. The challenge with particularly the United States and Western Europe, but some of Canada too, is capitalism mixed with gigantic governments, which is corporatism. And what that does is raise the price of everything. So now, this is one of the primary reasons that people don't have kids anymore in the West. It's too expensive to have children. My dad in the 70s was a low-income worker. He was married to my mom. He had 5 kids. So he was a low-income worker, able to barely, it was not very fun, but he was able to do it, support
Hmm.
a family of 7 back in the 1970s on his own
Hmm.
low income. Today, a low
Hmm.
income man can't even support himself. He could support 0 people. He has to move in with roommates. Now, why is
Hmm.
that? It's because of voting for the lesser of two evils and voting for horrible politicians for the past 40 years plus. People have made living so expensive. Healthcare, food, gas, real tax rates, these all add up. And now you have to get rich. If not rich, you have to be a higher income person. If you're going to stay in the West the rest of your life, You've got to make good money to live just kind of an average life. So it's the capitalism mixed with sky high taxes, historically sky high taxes, historically sky high prices.
Mm-hmm.
Both these things
Mm-hmm.
together, then you're forced into this. You have to work, 50, 60, 70 hours a week to make a good income just to live a normal life. That's why when people, again, reasons for moving on the collapsing list, when Westerners go to places like Eastern Europe, but a better example would be places like Southeast Asia or South America, they're shocked at how cheap everything is and how little money they need to live a decent life. I mean, I'm in Dubai. Dubai's not super cheap. Some things are cheap here, some things aren't.
Mm-hmm.
But then I spent a lot of time in Paraguay. You could make $2,000, $3,000 a month USD and live like a king in places like Paraguay and parts of Southeast Asia. So now all of a sudden, the greed, what is perceived as greed, doesn't kick in as much because the prices are low. I'm a libertarian.
Mm-hmm.
I'm for very few laws, very few regulations of the government. But that also means that you don't have big giant corporations merged with government like this, driving prices up, and you're spending trillions of dollars a year bailing out corrupt bankers. And that's what actually jacks up prices and also reduces the value of the dollar and raises taxes, all these things. They call it taxflation. That's the challenge. So if you leave capitalism alone, generally speaking, with exceptions, you're much better off than if you brace a corporatist system, which is exemplified by the modern day United States. The United States is not capitalist, has been capitalist since I was born, since before I was born. I was born in the early 70s.
Mm-hmm.
It's corporatist. It is a modified version of capitalism where you have gigantic government.
Mm-hmm.
The United States government. Oh, did you lose me? Am I back?
Yeah.
I think
Okay. Now it's coming. Yeah.
If you take the United States federal, state, and local spending, am I back? Can you see me? Okay. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah. It's okay. It's okay. So yeah. It's
Cool,
working
okay.
now. Yeah.
You take the United States and you add up federal, state, and local spending, because people just think about federal. No. There's a lot more than just federal in the United States. It's $9 trillion a year. That is bigger than any other government in all of human history, going back to the Roman Empire. I mean, you can't name any government that comes close to this. So when you have massive government and then these massive corporations like BlackRock and State Street that own 88% of all the stocks on the S&P 500, who basically run the government, you have these giant corporations and giant government mixed together, then it becomes a huge mess and it becomes unfixable like it is now.
Yeah, I think one of the reason I think is that we develop tolerance for everything. So what it means that tolerance. So for example, you give the example of your father who had like 7 kids. So if you see the like luxury, what is the luxury life at that time? Like having some food and everything. So in that time, if we say what kind of movies in the West, in USA, they were making simple, not really like high budget movie. So as the time passes, the people tolerance for entertainment, for everything is getting more and more because there is no limit cap. You can go for, when it comes to money, sky is the limit. When it comes to entertainment, everything is like there is no limit. So our tolerance is increasing. So if you see like Fast and Furious, like these kind of movies, they have like $1 billion budget, like because the people tolerance for entertainment is getting so high, so everything is like getting more extreme and extreme. So the same thing is coming when it comes to like money. So like for example, your father thought like, okay, this much money is okay, but for 7 kids or 5 kids, and but now for example, a girl who is living in 2024, they want to have like the best out of best for the children. It's the same thing in West Europe also. They want the best out of best for their children. And they don't because their tolerance for their entertainment, their luxury life is also very high, so they don't want to lose their luxury life. And then it comes, okay, we have like this much money, okay, it's better not to make kids and live like that, like single lifestyle, or like At the same time, when the people from the Middle Eastern countries are coming, and of course their birth rate is also going down, but it is not down compared to what white Western people birth rate is going down. So I think, like, as we have more options for anything as we have more options. In whatever field, we just want more and more, and then when there is no limit cap, there is no authority who is controlling, like, from above, we people will just go for want more and more, and that's something I think going on, like, um this is my view. What do you think, like?
Well, you're more traditionally conservative than I am, but here's where conservatives are right. So the Western world is collapsing economically, fiscally, and culturally. So we were talking about as cultural collapse, and you're accurate. I grew up in the 80s when the culture was very strong, and movies were great, and TV shows were great. They're corny, but they were good, and novels were good, and everything was great. And now today, movies are unwatchable. TV is unwatchable. You know, if you're into comic books, guys, they're stupid. They're all woke, and they make no sense. And, right. So cultural collapse is real, and it's happening, and it's getting worse every year. Correct. Let's see. Something you said about, what did you say about? I'm trying to remember what you said. You made some good points. You said, control. So I'm not traditionally conservative at all. I have a non-monogamous marriage. So I'm married, but I have sex with other women every week because I have a non-monogamous lifestyle, because long-term monogamy doesn't work. So obviously, I am not a traditional conservative. I don't vote for Republicans. Modern-day Republicans, most of them are just as now I'm using American examples. I apologize. Modern-day right-wingers,
okay.
Most of them are just as irrational as the woke left. Let's vote for Trump and he'll build a wall. He's not going to build a wall. Yes, he will. He doesn't. Oh, well, I don't care. So you have that. So it's not a question simply of traditional values. Instead, it's a question of things like IQ. IQs drop every decade in the West. Every decade, the average IQ drops. Attention span has dropped. And things like TikTok and Instagram and things like this. You have because you have economic factors that contribute to cultural decline. For example, sugar daddy game back in 2015 was this weird little niche. It was this weird little thing off the side that a few guys did and not really. And now it is the norm. Now, why is it the norm? Here's something else that I predicted. I predicted 20 years ago, around 20 years ago, maybe a little more than 20 years ago now, that in the United States, it will be normal for white suburban teenage girls to do porn. It will be considered normal. Whereas 20 years ago, you were a slut, you were a whore, and you were disgusting, you had mental problems. And today we have now OnlyFans. We have 18, 19, 20-year-old girls where their sisters and their friends and their moms encourage them to go on OnlyFans and show their naked bodies and get paid. Now, why did that happen? And why is sugar daddy such a big thing? Economics. Because these women live in these high-cost countries where the taxes are sky high, the cost of college is sky high, the cost of living is sky high. They can't go work at a waitress job and support themselves and live a good life. They need some guy to help them out with cash, so they'll flash their titties or do whatever they need to do. So cultural collapse is connected to declining mental function of the typical Western human, as well as economics. Just like what happened with Rome, economic collapse often parallels cultural collapse. And if you had a system where this was back in the 50s, 60s, where the low-income guy, it blows people away. In the United States, in the 50s and 60s, especially early 60s, the low average income dude who didn't have a college degree could get a low average job, get a house, get a wife, have 2 kids. The wife was a stay-at-home wife, have a house, have 2 cars, all on a low average income. Now, people say, well, the 50s was great culturally because we had a 2-parent household. The reason you had that is because women could do that economically. Today, they can't. So they do things like OnlyFans and sugar daddy game and get on TikTok and shake their ass on Instagram. And it's one is linked to the other. They're not separate, which is why you're right. All 3 of these things are happening culturally, fiscally, and economically. All 3.
Hmm, 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 hmm. So now, like you, why you now, your plan? Okay, when it comes to about the solutions. So you said that the okay, I'm agree to that. It's better to be location independent. So
Yes.
what you teach? So let's come to these things. So what exactly you teach? You do, I think, two things. You also teach guys to do some kind of location independent business, as well as helping guys in finding the country how to relocate. But I guess you're not teaching that much about dating game, or dating game also is is there, or you are just retired from the dating part.
I have not retired from the dating part, but I do a lot of other things now besides dating because again, I will
Okay,
never completely
okay.
retire from dating because dating is so important. If you make a lot of
Mm-hmm.
money, you never get laid, or you've got a bitchy live-in wife or girlfriend who's overweight and screams at you and never has sex with you, you will not be happy. So you need to make money and get laid. You need both.
Okay,
So I do talk about, you're right. So the business component, it's called an Alpha 2.0 business structure, and that is where you have your own
okay,
business that is location independent, which means you can go anywhere in the world and the money keeps coming in. 100% of my income is location dependent. I go wherever I want,
okay.
whenever I want, stay there for as long as I want. The money keeps coming in. I'm not locked to any. If your income is locked to any particular city, country, or region, you are not free. And if you live in the Western world, you're locked into a declining economy. Not smart.
Mm-hmm.
You need to be
Mm-hmm.
location dependent. So that's number one. Number two is the business needs to be low overhead. You don't want salaried employees in your business because you hire salaried employees in a Western country. The government comes in and tells you how to tax these employees, how to pay the employees, when to hire, when to
Mm-hmm.
fire. You're inviting the government
Mm-hmm.
in to run your company with you when you have these employees. Instead, you have
Okay.
subcontractors, vendors, personal assistants, interns, and things like that. In my largest company, I have three companies. My largest company, I've got, let's see, 21 people or so. None of them are employees, and they never will be. I don't want employees. So that's the next thing.
Okay.
So
Mm-hmm.
so I don't have an offices, I don't have inventory. My entire business empire is this laptop sitting right in front of me, and that's about it.
Okay.
So the next thing, third thing is it needs to be in unregulated industries. If you're in a regulated industry like having a restaurant, which is A, regulated and B, location dependent, something like COVID comes along and guess what happens? You're screwed. So you want to be
Okay.
in something that is completely unregulated. So again, the government stays away from you because as the government gets worse and worse, you want their hands off that. Those three things. And then the objective is, in my view, to make at least $85,000 a year US. That is pre-tax net. So that's the money you net from your business before taxes. And the reason
Mm-hmm.
I've chosen that number is if you look at all the happiness studies, including with men
Mm-hmm.
are happiest when they make at least $85,000 a year US. And that's an average. It depends on the country. It goes up and down a little bit. If you make
Plus getting some
30,000 a year
pussy.
US, what's that?
I'm saying 85,000 plus getting some pussy also.
Well, all of this is in addition to, so I talk about Alpha Male 2.0. One of the
Mm-hmm.
baselines of Alpha 2.0 is location independent income at least $85,000 a year. Okay, number one.
Mm-hmm.
Number two is you have two, not one, at least two women you're seeing sexually, means you're actually having sex with them, not friend zone. Women you're seeing sexually who are at least cute to you. They don't have to be supermodels, but they can't be ugly. They can't be
Mm-hmm.
fat and ugly and homely to you. So if you have at least two women you're seeing sexually on a regular basis who are at least cute to you and you've got $85,000 a year or more, location dependent
Mm-hmm.
income, now you're set. Now your baseline for happiness is set at a foundational level, and all the other things you want to do with your life, you want to have kids, or you want to move, or you want to do whatever, those things will now bring you more happiness instead of less. The problem is that
Mm-hmm.
men don't have those things. They either don't get laid at all, or they get laid with one woman occasionally because they're monogamous. Bad. And or they have low incomes, or they have a higher income, but it's not Alpha 2.0 income. It's not location dependent. It's in
Mm-hmm.
regulated industry. It's from a job, from a 9 to 5 job. And some people say, well, I have a remote job. Okay, yeah, you still can't control your schedule. Can you go wherever you want, whenever you feel like it? Or are you going to bring your laptop with you and stop? And no, it doesn't matter. No jobs. So, right, you need both, not one or the other. Correct.
So if some guy is coming, okay, he come to you and then help me in saving my life and like want to run away from the West. So give me some business example to the audience also, like they like what kind of business one can do like some
Mhm.
practical advice in that field, like what is the profitable business, because you said that non-regulated industries and all. So what kind of ideas you have for the guys?
Sure. This is the fastest way to get a high income, low work location independent business started from scratch. Number one, you determine a narrow niche. So doctors is not a niche. I teach people how to lose weight is not a niche. That's the whole fucking planet.
Mm-hmm.
Cryptocurrency is not a niche. It used to be a niche. Now it's
Mm-hmm.
not. These are
Okay.
industries and demographics. So you focus on a narrow niche, like auto parts stores in the northwestern region of blah, blah, blah country. That's a niche. Okay, great. You pick a narrow niche. Then you identify a problem the niche is already having, not something you want to help them with, because they don't care about you. They care about what? Their own problems. So you
Mm-hmm.
research this niche, or you have to do several niches and find out what is their number one or number two biggest problem that they are having right now, irrelevant of you. That's step two.
Okay.
Step three is you start a business that is either coaching, consulting, or some sort of service. And the reason for those three is in coaching, consulting, or a service. So coaching means you're helping people one-on-one. Coaching,
Okay.
consulting means you're helping companies. You go into a company,
Okay.
you're helping an organization. And then service means you're doing it for a person or a company. B2C or B2B, doesn't matter.
What kind
The
of
reason these
service?
three are the best.
What do you mean by
Sorry?
service? Like, what do you mean by service? Like, you are doing some kind of work for them, but I don't get it.
Yes, either a business service or a personal service. You are trying to help them solve or alleviate the problem that they are already having through a service. And maybe
So if
you
I
are implementing the service. What's that?
so if I understand, service means, like, for example, or like practically, if I'm understanding, so like
Anything.
some companies having a website kind of requirement, or like SEO requirement or kind of thing. So I'm giving my service to them. So that is what you mean?
Right.
Like,
Right.
okay.
For example. And it could be companies,
Mhm.
it could be individuals, it could be either one. Correct. And you don't have to do the service. You can go on Upwork or Fiverr and hire people to do the service, and you just bring in the clients and hand over the work to them, and you just monitor. That's fine. You don't have to physically do the service yourself,
Okay.
unless you really want to. Right. So it's one of those three. The reason those three are the best is because you can get from zero to the money faster with those three. We've had people in our programs get to thousands of dollars within a few weeks of never starting a business on their own in their entire lives, because it's coaching, consulting, or service. You can get from zero to the money really fast, really quick. Whereas if you build an app, or you do a SaaS company, or you write an ebook or do an online course, those are all good. Drop shipping, those are all good. You can make money doing all those things, but those things take a long damn time, and many of them take a lot of money. Whereas coaching, consulting, or service takes zero money. You can be making money within 3 or 4 weeks. You can quit your job within a month in some cases.
Okay.
So you do, and it's also high margin. So you only want to sell something where the markup on the thing that you are selling is very high. If you sell toothbrushes and your margin is 5%, you got to sell 1 billion toothbrushes to make any money. But if you sell coaching, consulting, or a service, and it's a few $1,000 and your cost is a few hundred or zero, you only need 1 or 2 clients to be able to quit your job. And you make sure that you can deliver the the service, coaching, or consulting in a location independent fashion where you don't have to be physically located there. You do it all online or through shipping or whatever you need to do. Okay. That's it. I mean, that's the short list. And you do that, literally, you can get 1, 2, 3 customers and you're ready to quit your job and move and get the hell out of there. It's great.
So how you like, so if I'm coming, so what you will, okay, so we search a niche. So like you will, like if I want to be consultant, then people need to trust me. So you will teach me to become good public speaker on the YouTube or something, how I will market myself, like how you will do these things, like step by step, like consultancy, then people has to see me, trust me or something like that. So you teach guys to make some public speaking videos, or how it is like email marketing, or it is how you will get the client for you, how you get the clients for this person.
Sure.
What are the strategies you will do?
Yeah. So step 1, then you have a branch of 2 options. But step 1 is you develop a squeeze page that gives something of value for free. That could be a few videos you record. It could be a consultative service. It could be a brief little ebook. It could be a one training video. It could be whatever you want, whatever makes sense for your niche. Different niches want to see different things. And it's free and you're going to give it away and it's good. It's not just marketing bullshit. It's good. It's something that actually helps people. So if they took this free thing and they never saw you again, it would actually help them solve their problem. Again, the problem that pre-exists you. So that's step one. Is you got to get that squeeze page set up so they get on your mailing list and you have an automated autoresponder who hits them up with emails every few days and things like that. Okay, so that's step one. Then step two is you need to make a decision. Do you have money or not? Can you spend money on ads or not? If you can spend money on ads, great. Then you run either YouTube ads or Facebook ads, again, depending on your niche, what your niche is. And you can spend you can spend $500 a month. You can spend $2,000, $3,000 a month, whatever your budget is. And that way you get from zero to the money faster by running ads. If you don't have any money, that's fine. You don't need money. I started this company right here. This is a 6-7-figure company. And I started for 29 bucks years ago. So you don't need a lot of money. I didn't spend any money on advertising until I was already making 6 figures on the internet. I was already making 6 figures for my consulting practice. But yes, you don't need money. People say, I don't have any money. You don't need any money. So if you don't have any money, what you do is you do a combination. You do cold reach outs. So first thing is you reach out to your warm network. You talk to everybody you know. My very first business I started when I was 24 was an IT consultant back in the 90s. I made a list of everyone I knew and I called them all. I made like 128 lists of people, everyone you've ever worked with, friends, families, acquaintances, distant family, and you call them all and you might get 1 or 2 clients right out of there. Or if they don't have not your niche, you say, do you know anyone who blah, 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 blah? Oh yeah, call Joe. So often you get 1 or 2 clients right there. So you start with that. Then the next phase is you go do cold outreach, which is through things like DMs on LinkedIn, Facebook groups, and calling people on the phone, cold calls, where you can buy or find your own list of people to call. It's easier with companies, but you can do that as well. And on top, while you're doing that, you do have some sort of social media presence, again, based on your niche. So if you're on YouTube, great. If you're on Instagram, great. If you're on Twitter, again, wherever your niche is, you go there. If you're marketing to women, you need to be on Pinterest. So whatever your niche is, you go there, you start developing. That's the medium to long-term play. The short-term play is phone calls and DMs, usually through Facebook groups and or LinkedIn groups and LinkedIn Sales Navigator and things like that. And again, people go, well, I don't want to make cold calls. You don't have to do cold calls necessarily, but again, you only need, this isn't Elon Musk, you need 10 billion customers. 1, 2, or 3 people who say yes. And now you can quit your job and now you have testimonials from the first few people. Now it's even easier to get business. So that's a nutshell how to get clients.
Okay, so it means that you also teach guys how to talk on the phone, on the calls, something like that. It is also.
We have call scripts, everything. We do all that stuff. Yes. In detail.
This is also.
We have a program called the 90-Day Business Builder where they do this in 90 days. In 90 days, you have a company that
So
actually.
how to get the client on the call? So if you're saying that you need only 3-4 clients, that means that you are focusing on high ticket sales.
You don't have to. So it depends what you mean by high ticket. Everyone has a different version of what that number is. I think of high ticket as more than $2,500. What's that?
Okay. Your version is 25. So that's almost like
that's my version. I don't know what the official recognized version is. Some people think $1,000 is high ticket. I don't, but okay. So no, you don't have to. You can market a service that's like $497. That's okay. You can do that.
Okay.
It's better if you don't. It's better that you do something that's $1,000, $1,500, $2,000, $2,500. And the reason you're able to charge these prices, which a lot of guys think is a lot of money, is because you did what I said earlier. You're not going to say, I'm going to help people lose weight, $2,500. That's the opposite of what I'm saying. What I'm saying is you only work with a narrow niche. So you say, I'm going to help you have less robberies in your, I'm just coming up with this as example, in your auto parts store. So you're only going to contact auto parts stores. That's it.
Okay.
You're not going to talk to anyone else. Number one. Number two, you're attacking a problem that they already have. You're not trying to convince them of, like when I talk about leaving the country, some guys never even thought of this. So I have to sit there and convince them, you should leave the United States because it's high taxes and it's collapsing and it sucks and it's getting worse every year and everyone's mad. And so you have to convince people to, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about they already have a problem they already want fixed. and you say, hey, Mr. Auto Parts Store owner or whatever, or, SaaS company that sells to doctors, whatever the narrow niche is, this problem that I know you're already having, I'll help you solve it or fix it, $2,000, $1,500. They go, oh shit, okay, great. And if they don't believe you, because you mentioned this earlier, some guys say, well, I don't know anything, and why would they trust me? Then you'd say, well, normally I charge $2,000, I'll charge you $500, but I want a testimonial from you at the end. And you do that with your first 1 to 3 clients. Well, first 1 to 3 customers, you can drastically drop the price or even do it for free if you really want to. And then after you've done that for 3, now you've got 3 kick-ass testimonials from people in the same niche. So the 4th person you talk to says, look, I help these people. Here are their testimonials. I help them solve this problem completely or improve it by 34% or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, like, this is something I also did when I started as a dating coach in 2013. I did training guys at that time in Germany, like almost like for free at that time to get like testimonials. So I mean, like, it's the journey for everyone. Something like they have to do it in the start and then they increase like the prices. That's
right.
So this is the first part.
As long as you do it just the first few clients and you stop.
Yeah.
Because if you hired me, I've been consulting for almost 30 years. If you hire me for consulting, you're not negotiating a price with me. You take my price, you're out. But when you
what is your price actually? So around
I don't have a price.
Is your price?
So I don't know. So for my consulting, I don't have a price. This is a technique you guys can use. It's called value-based pricing. And what that is when you do consulting, you could also do this with coaching depending on the scenario, but it's easier with consulting where you work with B2B with companies. You go to the prospect and you, in the narrow niche that has the problem, and you say, hey, Mr. Prospect, you have this problem. Yes. Oh my God, this problem is horrible, because you already identified the problem the niche already has. And you say, how much money is that problem costing your company per year? And they'll say, I don't know. You say, well, guess. They say, oh God, at least $500,000 a year we're losing on this. At least $500,000. Okay, you're losing about $500,000. Got it. So then you come back with a proposal, and the proposal, it says, we're going to help solve this problem, $500,000. We solve this problem. You make $500,000. Great. My fee is $64,000. Now, most people hear this go, okay, but again, if you make $500,000, this is what I do. If you make $500,000, I'm charging you $64,000. Who gets the better deal? Now, let's say they say, well, do you guarantee you solve the problem? How do you know you'll solve it? What if you don't solve it? And you say, okay, let's say we don't solve it. Let's say we put a 50% dent in it. We make it 50% better. You make $250,000, you pay me $64,000. Think you're getting a better deal. And then maybe you don't come in at $64,000, maybe you come in at $25,000 or $32,000, and you have 3 different options. So that's value-based pricing. You do that when you do consulting. Talk about getting one client where you can quit your job. It's happened.
Okay. That's interesting.
And I've got to go in about 2 minutes, just to let you know. Sorry about that.
Oh, in 2 minutes. Okay, then we have to. Okay,
Yeah.
so
Sorry.
okay, then like we can talk about the countries you are like what are the best countries you will recommend for like that's the next part for.
So the countries I recommend are the countries where you can get residency the easiest, and so those would be in no particular order: Paraguay, Mexico, Armenia, Dubai, which is United Arab Emirates. And I used to recommend Panama, not so much anymore. Now we're looking at Uruguay. So with those countries, you can get legal residency. I have permanent residency in all those countries. You can get legal residency very quickly.
Okay, so and how it is the process? It is like, so you're not like recommending people to like in European side or something, or Southeast Asia or something like that?
No, I don't recommend anyone move to any Western country, because you're just out of the frying pan into the fire. You can, but if you're going to leave the Western world, leave the Western world. Don't go from one Western country to another Western country. Yes, you can move from Poland to Estonia, and you can, or you can use it as a flag. You can use it as a flag, but not live there. I have some European flags, but I don't live there. But that's my opinion.
What do you mean by flag? It's like you have a residency there?
You can have residency there, you can have money there, or you could date there, but you live somewhere else, or you have a business there, but you live somewhere else, or you have investments there, but you live somewhere else. That would be a flag. So you don't live there, but you use it as one of your locations.
Because with the flag, I thought about the Rouge thing, he was having the flag like in every country.
Yeah, no, I don't mean that. I don't mean you've had sex with women there. Although you could have a dating flag.
Okay.
You could do that.
Okay.
That's fine.
So and Southeast Asia?
Southeast Asia is good. Malaysia is good. Cambodia is good. It's a little rough. Thailand is okay. Vietnam is fantastic.
But
But these
like
are
for
harder to get
example,
residency in. They're harder to get residency in there. You got to go live there.
okay.
But those are good for economic flags, sure.
Okay, so you have like maybe you are about to go now. So look like so.
Yes, I got to
And
go.
like
An appointment at the top of the hour. I apologize.
okay, last question. Like I want to ask about like in Dubai you are saying, but there is no freedom of religion. So how would you counter that? There is
There
no
is freedom
freedom
of
of
religion in Dubai. There is freedom of religion in Dubai. You cannot. The freedom of speech is limited that you can't say anything negative about the government, and that's about it. So if you don't
Okay,
plan on saying anything
so
negative about the government anyway, which I don't, who cares?
okay,
But no,
okay.
there are
So you can
Christians here, there are
practice your
Jews here,
religion.
there are Muslims here.
So you can like walk around wearing cross or something like that on the street. Nobody will say
Absolutely.
anything. Like for
Yes.
example, like as a Hindu practitioner, I have this kind of, I don't know if you can see this kind of things,
Yeah.
So it is so something like that. So it is not a problem if I'm going to Dubai, nobody will say anything. No like
Not a problem at
religious
all.
police or
That was
something.
probably a problem 10 years ago. Dubai gets more liberal and
Okay.
relaxed every year, so no, it's not a
Okay.
problem at
Okay.
all.
Okay.
Not a problem.
Okay. Got it.
I mean,
Got it.
there are gay guys who live here. They don't care anymore. They used to, not anymore.
Okay, okay. Yeah, so it was good actually, like talking to you about like other than dating stuff.
Sure,
And so maybe we can catch up another time when you have a bit more time about the
Yeah, let's
things.
do it anytime. Let me know. No problem. Yeah, it'd be fine.
So thanks for coming here. Take care and have a nice day, and best of luck in Dubai. I hope you enjoyed this video and got a lot of value out of it. By the way, guys, if you are still suffering in your dating life, not able to find any solution for the problems you are facing in your dating life, now it's time to change it forever. And if you really want to get guided by me personally in my mentorship program or in my one-on-one bootcamp program, then apply to the link in the description below. The link is deepakdating.info/mentorship. But keep in mind, my mentorship program or my one-on-one bootcamp program are in very high in demand with a very limited availability. They are also costly. So only if you are fully motivated, committed, and prepared emotionally and mentally, want to get guided by me personally, only then apply to the mentorship or my bootcamp program. If right now the cost is the issue, or you are not able to do my mentorship program or my bootcamp program due to any personal reason and still want to change your dating life, then I suggest you to join Dating in Fields Domination. The link is also in the description below. The first link, it's only $1, completely risk-free. You can cancel it anytime you want to. There you will see pure uncut in-field interaction of me as well as my students, getting laid, getting girlfriends, listen word by word, line by line, in-field interactions in this program, Dating in Fields Domination, and learn top-level seduction skills which no other dating coach in this world can able to teach you. I challenge it. So what you will see in Dating in Fields Domination in the infields, that is something you will be personally learning from me in my mentorship program or my one-on-one bootcamp program in future if you plan to join it. So apply to the link in the description below for a 30-minute free call, deepakdating.info/mentorship. If you really want to get mentored by me personally and change your dating life, or other alternative, join Dating in Fields Domination. The link is also in the description below. If you are not really sure right now for mentorship program or my one-on-one bootcamp program. Also guys, don't forget to watch the playlist Rock Solid Infield on this channel, where I'm doing live flirt, picking up girls in front of camera, showing top level pickup and attraction skills. Also don't forget to watch Student Transformation and Testimonial, where I'm teaching my students, showing full documentaries, student success and their testimonials also.